Maybe we are live. Yes.
Cool. Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Drone Out. Tonight we are joined by, hopefully fully recovered from COVID, Stephen.
Hello, good evening and welcome. Why are the windows swapping around?
Hierarchy or
I don't know. Jack just appeared, and all of a sudden everything's moving and like settings are being changed.
No one's allowed to touch that. Frank's in charge, our Lord and Master. Oh, stop fiddling with stuff. Hello, Frank.
Hi.
Fiddling.
As long as it's not kids, it's all good. And
Demonetized.
no, good luck with that. My buddy Carl,
Howdy.
and I'm Bright Till I Fly. Hello, or Jake.
Jake,
So-
the desert Bedouin.
Hi.
After the culmination of many months of research and shipping delays and fighting the good fight, Cole has a result to talk about, I think, right?
I do. I like you said, after many months of twiddling my thumbs, waiting on the postman, yelling at Chinese manufacturers to make sure my things are delivered to me, I finally received the final parts of my 7-inch build. Yes.
Speaking of parts, Carl, I just sent you the pricing of getting the HD whatever. When you text me, I remembered to send it to you.
Oh, okay.
Not to derail you, but yeah, I am shocked. His soldering skills are now getting disturbingly good.
Ooh, I can show them. I can show them off. I actually just sent myself a screenshot.
What disturbing stuff has he been soldering?
Well, disturbing to you probably, Stephen. Kiss Ultras.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
It's an addiction.
he doesn't need me anymore. He asked me redundant questions that I have to shout at him.
Yeah. Well, you gave him that first taste, and after that, he's just out
I
throwing
just need
money.
a shirt that just
He's
says
hanging around
"Read
dark
the Wiki."
alleys asking for flight controllers.
Let's see. Share screen. How do I? Oh, here it is. Okay, so these are my soldering skills. This is like basically before everything was done, but yeah, it's not too bad. It's getting there.
And like Christmas tree baubles, Cole. It's like a festive flight controller. Look at those shiny little chrome domes.
Well, I'm trying. You know what? It's funny because I always see when Jack does his, and then I'm like, okay, that's my standard. If mine aren't nice, shiny, silvery balls of solder, then I have to redo them until they look like nice, shiny balls. So
What makes me a bit sad is sometimes mine are lovely and shiny when I solder them, and I go back 10 minutes later and they've lost their shine, and I'm like, oh, sad.
You got to get out that toothbrush and some ISO and give them a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my soldering there, and yeah, flux is like it's magic, man.
Yeah, if they go dull after a while, it might be because you're mixing lead with unleaded solder, or it might be two different mixes.
It could be that I'm shit at soldering, Jack. That's my diagnosis.
Yeah, if you're like reheating something, you haven't put flux on it, and it's oxidization. So put a bit of flux on it, heat it up till it, count to 4.
Well, you know what I noticed too is like on the smaller pads, what I found again just from doing my build, and I'll show you guys the build in a second, but high heat, get in and out with the soldering iron. Make sure you have flux on before you start doing stuff. I feel like the longer I keep things on, like the longer I try to keep the heat on the pad, the worse my soldering gets. It's always like,
yeah.
I mean, unless it's a big pad, it's like you just got to touch it and take it off, and pray that.
I think the longer you leave stuff hot, the more like nasty oxides and crap you end up in there.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is my new 7-inch long range build. It's so it's the Rad Lion frame, which is a Falcon Rat. If you guys know Falcon Rat, the long range flyer from Canada, this is his frame, and it's actually it's not like an official release one. It's like a beta version. Actually, it was one of like his like early versions that I got handed down by a local friend of mine. But so yeah, it's a 7-inch Rad Lion running Kiss Ultra V2. I've got the T-Rex cam in the front, Fox ear, T-Motor F90 1300 kV motors, 2806 and a halves, Rush solo tank and the top plate there, T-Motor F55 V2 ESC, True RC Singularity, Crossfire Diversity running a True RC Bard pole, and running obviously the Immortal T on the front, Hero 11 Mini, and BN220 GPS on the back.
Well done, mate. Looks
I don't know.
ready to go.
Oh yeah. I was actually able to do a little maiden flight, which was cool. And believe it or not, on the maiden flight, I got to go chase a train, which was pretty fun. It just flew so good right off the bat. I was like, well, the train's going by. What am I gonna do?
Yeah. You are now one of the tuning authorities for Ultra. There you are.
I don't know. I think I'm more like I would say the opposite of that. But Caroline, the arms, I think these ones, which are the earlier version, these are 7 mil thick arms, but the official version I think are 8 mil. But I was actually speaking to
7 mil is still pretty thick, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it helps keep the resonance frequencies and whatnot. But the having these arm braces, actually talking to Falcon Rat, is it helps to get those lower end frequencies above 200 hertz, which a lot of 7-inch quads have issues with that sort of like. Having that frequency, resonant frequency under 200, which then gives tuning issues and weird stuff. So
because you want to be filtering out stuff that's of a high frequency, and leaving the low frequency stuff alone, because that's kind of where your stick input and prop wash happens, and you want to be able to notice prop wash and react to it. And obviously, you don't want your stick inputs and things to the actual intended moves to get filtered out.
For sure, yeah, and I can show you guys the maiden flight if you care to see.
Do it.
Let me pull it up
here.
You're
going to show it. I'm going to guess it's going to be in a window, and you're going to have like filmed the GoPro screen on your phone.
Wait, sorry,
I'm confused. Cole's like hipster stylings on his video.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm confused by what that means, but let me see here. Let me see. So share screen.
Put a Polaroid camera on your.
Oh yes. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I Oh, you're talking about that thing where the outsides are like that or whatever?
Yeah, sometimes I was just joking, because sometimes you'll like share the video and you'll be like this little window of video in the middle. But that's beautiful. You can absolutely see what's going on. That's cool.
Okay. So here it is. So basically, you got my DVR on the right hand side. You got, you'll see what happens here. But so yeah, I got satellites. I got 9 pretty quick, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I can take off. And this is with I'm using a lithium ion. This is 4,000 milliamp hour lithium ion. It can do 45 amp constant. And if you see on the right, there is snow on the ground, and there's also a huge flock of Canadian geese. Canadian geese. There's like literally, I don't know if you can see.
Are they just like normal geese but better behaved?
I think they're it's a bunch of Canadian geese. Yeah. But so there were tons of them, and they were like in the field. So I was like, okay, well, I'll try and avoid them as much as I can, but let's go chase after this train for a moment.
It's got some speed, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going 45 kilometers an hour. Looks like right now. At one point, I was going like 89 kilometers an hour, according to OSD there. But I mean, dude, for a maiden flight, if you look at the OSD, it's flying beauty. Or sorry, the DVR, I should say. I mean, how much
nothing wrong
better
with
do I
that.
need it?
That
Yeah,
looks
how much
good.
better do I need it to fly? I did get a bit of bounce back on some flips and rolls, but I'm not freestyling this drone. So, also first time flying over water, that little pond. I was like, well, I mean, I'm flying, so I guess I can probably do it.
Was there any wind?
Yeah, so there. It was a little bit of wind that day, not too bad, but yeah, at one point there I was going like 70 kilometers an hour catching up to this train. Now I'm going about
you're
60.
catching up. So that train's going to be doing like 30, 40 mile an hour, and you're easily keeping pace with it, going a little bit faster than it consistently. That's promising.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And then in a few seconds here, you'll see I do a bit of a turnaround. And then I kind of, I don't know how to say it, but I guess I do a little turnaround and I'm kind of diving down a bit. I start getting a bit of breakup, but it's in a few seconds still. But I don't know, man. I was really impressed with this frame. The Rad Lion, it's super solid. Kiss Ultra V2 is amazing.
Is rock solid, considering you're pretty low there.
I know. I mean, then again, like, I mean, if you ever watch Falcon Rad, he's a huge advocate that he never uses anything more than 800 milliwatts. Actually, I think it's right there. When the breakup gets a little bad, let me see if I can find it. So 85 kilometers an hour here. Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's struggling either. You're not getting a bunch of sag, are you? You're still at like 21 something volts.
Oh yeah. So you know what? I did 2 flights, just on this one pack, and I got the first flight was like 10 minutes. The second flight was like 10 minutes, and there was still gas in the tank, man. I could have still gone another couple minutes at least.
Sweet.
So like with one pack, if I could get a 20-minute flight, I mean, I'm laughing. And I'm gonna start with one. I have 2. Maybe I'll do a 6S2P configuration, but I also want to try out lipos, a big lipo as well, and see how it goes. But yeah, for maiden flight, not too shabby, man. I was super impressed.
I saw the current meters at 0. That's the only thing that jumps out, but I guess that's just something to check before you get out next time. Tick the box.
Totally, that's exactly what it was. I basically in the GUI, all I had to do was in I guess current sense or whatever. There's either ESC telemetry or flight controller sensor or something, and I forgot to click over flight controller sensor on it. So I clicked that, and it works perfectly fine now. Now what I have to do is I need to calibrate the current sensor by doing the how many milliamps in, how many milliamps out or whatever, and do the little divider for that. But other than that, it's working. And
sweet, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's a rewarding feeling, man. It's basically, yeah, it's my second build I've ever done, like basically like 95-ish% on my own. I got a bunch of help from, well, Jack was helping me a bunch. I had a few questions for him. Some of the guys in the Ultra Discord were helping me out. And you know what? There's actually a few things that I learned in the process as well. Let me see if I can pull up one other thing I can show you guys, because it was let me see, window. Bear with me here for 2 seconds. There was a DVR thing that I wanted to show you guys, and I guess it's not going to blur out my my GPS coordinates, but I don't really care. It's fine.
You can slide the window down so we can't see the coordinates, I guess, if you want.
I don't care, man. It's like whoop-de-doo.
You're in Canada. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's not like I was flying anywhere I wasn't supposed to be, so it's all good.
Yeah, but you live on those train tracks.
I do.
People are going to know where you live.
Can you guys see this screen here with the DVR?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah. So oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's the absolutely wrong one. Where is it? Oh shoot! And now I'm. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So if you notice, my OSD elements, I guess I could have shown on the other one, but my OSD elements are in, they're not in the best of positioning and stuff. So I didn't realize at first that I could.
You're really obsessed with landing like just when one of the GPS digits ticks over.
Well, so I didn't
like
with Kiss Ultra V2
the petrol pump, and you're like just 50 quid, exactly 50.
Yeah. But basically, I didn't realize that with Kiss Ultra V2 and with OSD elements that you can actually double click them and align to the left, to the right, to the center. And
Oh, nice.
luckily, Alexander Fedorov, the creator of Ultra, he was like, dude, align your shit. Like, what are you doing? And I was actually able to fix it because it bugged me. I was like, I can't get my GPS stuff all the way over on one side. It's like stuck. And then, it was just a simple fix of just, double click your double click the OSD element, align to which side you want, and then you can move it nicely. Yeah. So that was really cool. So yeah, shout out to Alexander for helping me out with that. And also there was a new setting in Ultra V2 that's like a fly home alarm. Basically, in alarms you can set basically like a message thing saying like, if you're going to be able to make it home in time, or like if not, and it'll start yelling at you, being like, turn around, like, what are you doing?
You shouldn't rely on stuff like that though, because wind.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still nice to have. I think it's kind of a cool feature that he just implemented. But yeah, I mean, I haven't actually got to test it properly yet. I just kind of set it up in the configurator or the GUI or whatever. But yeah, so that's basically that's the gist of my new build, and it flies and it's great and I'm happy, and I just need to heat shrink my my receiver and I'm good. So
Awesome.
It was a success. Did
you try the return to home then?
So you know what? I was actually speaking with Alexander about this as well, because
it's like, it's so good you don't need to test it until you need it, and then it'll just work. And if it doesn't work, travel to my country and punch me in the face.
Well, I do have return to home on failsafe ticked, but I basically like oh, thanks, Robert, man. I appreciate it, man. What was I gonna say? So I have it set up for return to home on failsafe, but I use the Tango 2, which doesn't have a whole lot of switches and buttons and whatnot. So with my on my freestyle builds, for some reason I have level mode set up, so I'm used to having like a level mode switch, which I never use, so I don't know why the hell I even have it set up. But
it is useful for that stuff, like when you're just like, oh crap, where am I? Just level mode it and punch up.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
7-inch is probably going to be way more useful to have that than the freestyle ones.
Well, I guess, but at the same time, like, I think having a switch for return to home would be way more beneficial than a switch for level mode. So true. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just ditching level mode for my 7-inch and just putting on enable return to home. And then I still have to do some testing, obviously, of that and see how it works. But yeah, it's at
the Tango and seeing how few switches it actually has, because I thought it was relatively fancy radio.
It has nothing.
Oh, it's only
very bare bones.
Switches. That's weird.
Yeah,
2 switches. Oh no, there's some on the bottom, aren't there? There's these weird little things.
There is little buttons on the bottom, but I mean, could I use that for return to home? Like press the little button on the bottom. I have the one on the bottom left. I have as voltage. It'll yell my voltage out to me, because when I first started in the hobby, my first quad, it only had voltage reading from the RunCam FPV camera. So, but after a few crashes, like for some reason it stopped updating, so I had to make a button, which Jack helped me figure out, where like while I'm flying, I didn't know what my voltage was at, so I just press a button, it would yell it out to me through my radio. But yeah, that's
complete the story. Come on, it's a good one.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you mean the one where you want to make me sound like an asshole?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's right. I'm an asshole,
rather than forcing Cole to implicate himself, like we've got 2 2-pos and 2 3-pos. You've got like one for your flight modes, angle mode, and
he's reading the documentation there. To you,
I'm just reading the Whoop Store page that I found for this radio. So you've got one for your like beeper, probably a 2-position for that, and your 2-position for arming, and then a 3-position for flight mode. Doesn't that still leave you with a 3-pos that you could use for something else?
So because I've been trained by Jack, who apparently is stuck in the past, you are the master and he is the pupil. Well, no, so Yeah, so I typically on freestyle quads have idle up set up on on the 3 position. So it's like on the left 3 position, it's like high is, or I guess low. Okay, I don't know, I'm confused, but low is nothing. The middle one is like the the idle whatever, and
Why do you
then
need idle up on a long range build?
the Crunk
You're
said
not
the
going to be
exact same thing
skating
to me.
down railings, are you?
No, he well, yeah, Crunk said the same thing. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing running idle up, man?" He's like, "It's not 2015 or whatever."
You'd use it for like doing perching and stuff, right? So you turn off air mode and you can perch.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't even know. Like that's just what I was taught by Jack. So yeah.
Yeah, but you've done the odd hand catch anyway, so I
I have.
Yeah. Oh, look who's here. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking
I know.
about.
I'm sorry.
Just
I'm
ignore
old as
this
dog
guy.
shit. Okay, I'm old as dog shit. I'm sorry about that, Alex. I'm sorry that Crunk has to repeat himself about that. It's just some legacy bullshit back.
All Jack's fault.
Like,
Jack
yeah,
has just off to one side. There's a small altar with Sharpoo's picture and the instructions for setting up idle up.
Yeah, there is. I need to pay Ed to like Photoshop, do a little Photoshop of Carlos as Jesus.
So okay, can somebody, because all I know is idle up, can someone please explain to me what this whole pre-arm and everything means? Because I get it, like, hey, so you said the min command is still 1,000, right? And then or sorry, I don't know, I get confused with this stuff. But
Jack, do you want to explain it because it's your religion? You should give us the
official
viewpoint.
Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but like,
your pupil has left. Apostate!
About to begin preaching, and then they just leave. This isn't good. Min command default. I know. I'm sorry.
So is idle up supposed to be like you engage the throttle, but you like disengage the PID loop so it doesn't freak out at low throttle or something?
Yeah, it's just the motors. Do you remember back in the day when you used to have like the button for on Betaflight, stop motors spinning when armed? It's the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's the setting we said like just hide it because no one should use it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and pre-arm is just an extension of moron threshold.
You can't. I think it's called idiot threshold now.
It was moron threshold.
Like my computer is like freaked out on me.
I forget, but yeah. So it's designed to like control the problems you get with air mode when you're on the ground, right? So that you don't get like bouncing quads when you're on the ground. Right?
But KISS doesn't do that.
So why do you need it?
It's just because we were
Did you see a Mr. Steel video 5 years ago and you like spent an entire weekend trying to figure out how to copy it, and now you're like, that's sunk time, I can't let it go?
Worse, Snake back in the day.
Cole used pre-arm. Okay, that the Crunk said the same thing. He said to switch it to that. So I was messing around with it a bit.
So what is pre-arm? Is that just a 2-stage arm, like safety arming?
Yeah,
and apparently
hold momentary switch, and then it will allow you to go into arm or something.
Easy peasy. Like
and I guess you can make it so it acts like idle up as well. Yeah.
I actually, instead of using an extra switch, I just do it all on the radio, so I don't even need a channel for it, because you can make on EdgeTX or OpenTX, you can make stickies.
Yeah, you sacrificed your trim switches, didn't you, in order for a pre-arm?
Yeah, I mean, I have zero need for the trims. So yeah, I have like trim right and a switch that's also on my right hand, and I just hold the trim right and flip the switch, and the switch is dead unless I'm holding trim right.
Frank is a Philistine. Here, this throws Frank under the bus.
I know.
Thank you for coming back. Frank is the type of scumbag who changes the value to negative instead of reversing the servo direction in output.
I usually
She's like,
just change
she's like,
plates.
I'll turn off pre-arm for you or idle up for you, Cole. I'll turn off idle up, right?
Oh, so when you're trimming, Frank has
Oh,
to trim
great.
backwards.
Huh.
Well, I solved that problem by not trimming.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need trim on a quad, do you?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Plain.
Jack's talking about servos anyway. So, like, if you have a fixed wing without a flight controller, and say you've got your roll doing 2 servos but in different directions, so it's like
Well,
controlling 2 channels.
even on a fixed wing, you've still got trim on your throttle axis, so you could use that as you could switch that one to be like a momentary. So if you do need to like grab a switch, just take the trim off throttle because you'd never need to trim throttle.
What happens if you're
No squeezing of cat
flame?
balls. Don't worry. And he
Pardon?
doesn't have. She doesn't have any.
Sorry,
Oh,
that was
I
Jack.
think
Jack was saying something at the same time as Kitty commentary.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about gas aeroplanes? You need a trim for that.
That is
When did
true.
you last fly a gas aeroplane?
Oh, well, I've never ever.
Frank, when did you last
might.
fly a gas aeroplane?
2003, maybe.
So yeah, moving on. You can use the throttle trim.
At least it had 2000 in it. You know, it was 2000 and.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Off Axis? How's it going, buddy? Off Axis in the chat.
Hello.
He's actually
Yeah.
He is one of my inspirations for this the Rad Lion Frame 2. He flies this as well. He's another fellow Canadian guy who's friends with Falcon Rad. Sorry to just completely derail the topic there, but yeah.
No, it's
It's a good topic to derail to. I think Stephen might be going to get another kitty,
Uh-oh.
possibly.
It's a
Max
pussy
will win.
potty. Yeah, not too bad, eh, Alex?
Ooh.
He removed himself.
Did I remove
I think
myself?
that
Oops.
may have been me because I was batting around. So you know how I've got absolutely no problem with impulse control.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah.
Not one of them.
What's it called? The MT-12, is it?
Yeah. It's
I
a
think we
surface
should
radio with HTX.
I
Ah.
think we should challenge Stephen to fly a quad using nothing but trims.
And look, no, never mind that. Look, challenge me to fly a quad using this. And
Wow.
I've got a joystick down here, and I've
You
got a
will cut
wheel.
your face
Technically,
off.
I've got enough access to fly a quad.
Yeah, like taking the whip and like cranking the. For anyone who like, it's a car wheel stick.
Yeah, but
Man, it seems like everyone's
so what
getting
I
into
ended up
the
doing for
cars
this
this
is
time of year.
I went really deep on the logical switches, and you can see if I hit the logical switch and it's armed, it goes green, and so
Nice.
it doesn't
Should be
arm.
red for danger.
Well, no, red is it's not working, mate. And so if I pull the throttle axis is completely dead. It doesn't send any signal until I arm it, and then when I go backwards, it does the police funny thing, and then
Nice.
the instant I hit that, it just throttles to 0, and so it does
That is-
like arming on the radio for a car.
It's very flashy.
So if I accidentally pick it up and like when I reach to grab it and hit the trigger, then my car doesn't like disappear off into a bush, over a wall, into a child or something.
So what are you going to control with it? I mean, there's cars, boats, hovercraft.
Well, cars and maybe quadcopters, but I thought I will try with a whoop. I'll see if I can use my thumb on the wheel like that, you see, and do that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be challenging. I thought, well, the wheel's got to be yaw, and obviously the trigger has to be throttle, really. And then I could probably do an angle mode job with that. Oh, I've got to disable the trims as well because they're not doing anything useful. It's just trimming everything. It's got so many trims for like because it's got pots all over the place. It's got like 4 trim switches, and you're like, what did I just hit? Something beeped, and then it keeps going center, and I'm like, what? Which one? Which? There's there's no obvious lettering on the trim switches, so you're just like, I need to trim the steering, but I've got 4 trim switches. Like, what the hell am I doing?
It just looks like you have a drill. You're ready just to like do some home renovation.
Anyway, Express LRS, and it's nice. And for anyone who's curious, all the weird little extras like the joystick stuff, they just seem to come as standard. So you get like a proper carry case, and you get the extra switch panel, and the funny little joystick adapter, and a strap, and everything as standard. So
Yeah, that's cool.
pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Nice bit of kit.
Nice.
Oh, and they throw in a receiver as well. You get like a PWM receiver thrown in.
What one?
The Radio Master E3C. It's a 3-channel with voltage telemetry. And that's really the main reason why I like this so much is the ability to do cars and get a voltage readout and not kill my lipos. Because the first thing that happened when I got a car was like I just killed 3 lipos in a row.
Ouch.
They're like,
Yeah.
I'm racing it through grass. There's a bit of resistance on the grass. Oh, is that resistance? Oh no, the battery's like 5 volts on a 2S. Oops.
No bueno.
Have you seen any of you? Speaking of gas-powered aircraft, have any of you seen Andy's new video?
I
of
did.
flying nitro after 15 years. See, it does happen in the turn of the millennia.
Flying
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Oh, you mean the Nitro one, the brand newest one?
Yeah,
Oh no, I didn't see it. I didn't see it yet.
I know. Look at that. That's got a engine and a
Show us.
throttle choke and everything. Oh, you want? Okay, hang on.
Show us, Jack.
Well, it's not mine to. I'm sure he won't mind me.
At
Look
least
at
show
that,
us the
look.
thumbnail. At least show us the thumbnail.
Look at this. Look, that's from the past. That is. It's like made
Like a
of
Tyrannus or something?
stone. Oh, look, this will scare you. I mean, Stevens, like Cole, if you're worried about not flying when you don't know what battery voltage, Stephen doesn't trust servos.
No.
So don't worry about that. You know, like everyone has their sticking points. You know, like helicopters scare me. You know, at least with planes, they like glide and stuff, whereas helicopters beat the air into submission. They're like flying abominations.
The scary thing about a gasser like that is like if your receiver radio dies, if you like, or if the battery comes out or something, if something bad happens to the electrics and your servo on your throttle is like stuck open, like all of a sudden you've got this just engine that's just continuing until it runs out of fuel.
They smell freaking awful as well. Like I've seen guys at the field setting these up. They spent so long getting them in the air. It's almost like they love covering themselves in gas fumes. Oh, it stank. And then they fly around for a couple of minutes and then they land and like rev the engine a bunch more. It's just revolting.
It probably took 14 years to charge it because it's a NiCad battery. That's probably what took so long.
What kind of gas are they running in that? Do you know? Like, is it like a
Nitro
mixture or? Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you say
nitro.
nitro, but what is nitro exactly?
No one
Nitro
really
methane?
knows.
Generic term for some hobby fuel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like but the nitromethane is even like that's the stuff to stop it going bang, right? I can't remember. It's
I don't know.
controlling the
Yeah.
octane.
It's going to be a
Some
mixed
sort of-
fuel, right?
Some
Mixed-
sort of dinosaur juice. I know that.
Aren't they
That's
basically?
what I'd sell it as.
Are they just mini 2-strokes with very volatile fuel? Is that what?
Yeah,
what you're
basically.
running?
Yeah. Look,
you do get 4-stroke ones, and you even get like radial ones, and like
So you need
there's-
like an oil fuel mix, right, for that?
Yeah, the oil's in the fuel, I think.
yeah. It's like
Hence the smoke that comes out of it. I mean, look, it's literally
Oh, yeah.
cancer.
yeah.
that's
it's
probably
just-
why Andy wants to fly it, right? It's like he's probably got another little servo just to do
Feeling
like
slightly
the
suicidal.
It's got a fart can on the back.
exactly, to make it like really rich, just produce a cloud of smoke out the back.
It'd be
I mean, that's a
it'd be like a max
flying-
power gathering.
It's like a blender with twigs strapped to it.
Yeah. Don't get
I
it.
mean, the wings held on with elastic bands. I mean, if you're
I
worried
kind of
about
get like
servos,
proper jet turbines, how that's kind of an engineering feat, but that just looks like an old lawnmower.
well, it is,
Yeah,
but it's one that's pointed towards your face at times.
yeah. Like what's the problem with my lawnmower is it's facing the ground, and I hate that idea. So let's like hair it around the sky.
Yeah, I know.
Fly it
said
long
the-
enough,
the
it'll also
smoke
be
was to
facing
hide
the
your
ground.
mis- The smoke was to hide your mistakes back in the day. That's funny.
man.
Oh,
Well, as long as he's
numbskull.
enjoying himself, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
End of the day, as long as he's having
Yeah.
a laugh.
yeah.
did-
Yeah, no, even day release.
Yeah.
There are definitely a group of people for whom the smell of nitro is very much
Excites them sexually.
yeah, exactly.
Jack. Jake.
Not
I like how
me.
you're groping for something sensible, and you just had
Yeah.
the one that excites them sexually.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
like
just
Max
go for that.
Power, isn't
That's
it?
fine.
Like a bunch of guys standing around cars.
With boners.
That's, yeah, exactly. Look at the exhaust pipe on that. You would, Robbie. You would.
If
Nothing like the
its name
smell
was
of nitro
Jessica,
methane.
they get high off it, man. They're like rabid dogs.
Oh
You
man.
know, show the dog the
Rabid dogs
rabbit.
with bank accounts. That's the trouble.
I wish Andy was here to defend himself.
Oh, Robert
I
said the
missed you,
nitro guys at their field. Pretty sure they all wear diapers. Or it depends.
They're
Yeah.
too excited by the nitro.
It's because they keep drinking it. Like you're not going to do that.
It'll go right
It
through.
will
you.
have that effect on you.
Yeah.
Shit themselves from excitement because you can't handle it.
I'm not even excited at all, and I still do that.
Well, you've probably flown a lot of nitro in the past, Jack. That's
no,
not too
never.
excited.
I don't even
drank
think
it.
you can get the fuel anymore. I think they're all just
What do they use these
scrabbling
days, then?
around for it.
So is it like methanol?
I think the
Because
EU banned it, didn't they? Because
The-
it's, you know, just Captain Planet's going around punching them in the dick.
don't the big fancy trucks, like big redneck trucks, they run on methanol, as that's like a really volatile fuel. Do they do that? Is nitro the same? Because it's a pink fuel, isn't it? It's like always dyed pink, much like a. But I guess that's
Yeah,
just
so
any
is red
fuel they don't
diesel.
want you drinking.
What is
Apparently, Model Shop in Leeds still sells it, according to Caroline.
I've still got some glow plugs and a glow plug wrench somewhere, but
It should be a challenge. You guys who do know how this stuff worked should make some sort of like basic nitro flying vehicle from scratch to prove you can still do it.
It comes in different flavors.
It's got to be able to take off. That's it. That's the only requirement. Take off, and we require a 0 fatality guarantee. That's it. And of
Zero
course, rule
fatality.
0 should be met for all participants.
So as long as no one
10%.
dies, like are we like if we like lose a limb, like that's not a fatality. So
Not a
that's
fatality,
still
that's
passes
okay.
the test, right?
Oh, there you are. Nitromethanol
good.
with diesel and oil mix, according to Robert there.
Because I do know that like the guys that are still into their gases big time and have been for the past 50 years, like they are missing a few fingers, quite a few of them.
Wow. That's that ain't no joke.
Yeah, 10% to 40% of nitro methane mixed with methanol.
There we go. Richard Warwick in the chat is calling you out on your shit, Jack, because even Amazon are selling it. So there you go.
Yeah, I know. I weren't. I was joking. I was like, you know, because
You can't buy it as a drink to make you more manly anymore, which you could in 1983.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. I was joking.
New cologne, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that the mini
It was
two-stroke
on the shelf
will-
next to High Karate back in the day.
Even
Caroline Tyler's going to be flying a VTOL this weekend. What is the weather going to be like this weekend? I haven't actually looked.
There's been a spate of VTOLs. That if anything is a newsworthy area of VTOLs, because all of a sudden it's like manufacturers have figured out, like, you mean we can put a servo on these engine mounts? This is incredible. Like, we never realized all this time that you could combine motor mounts with servos, and suddenly people's minds are just blown. And like 2023, there's been 3 or 4 different companies, like even Jumper released a VTOL. Like, budget manufacturers like that coming out with VTOLs. It's interesting.
I think it's because they finally got the code down, and it's a feature in a flight controller that's newer than the KK2, probably.
Yeah, but I feel like I have to pass on the message from Painless that I'm sure he would be screaming right now, which is that whilst a lot of them are being sold, they don't tend to come with great settings.
Yeah. So if you want to enter, like Tesla, if you want to be the member of an ongoing beta test, or like Windows 11, if you want to be the member of an ongoing beta test for the concept of a vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, some of them are for sale at reasonable prices. They may never have actually been flown by anyone else before it arrives at your doorstep. So, good luck with that.
Yeah, Painless has put it out there that he's refusing to review any more VTOLs just because he spends all his time trying to get them to fly and then them crashing. Because basically, that maybe it hovers if you're lucky. Maybe it flies, fixed wing if you're lucky. But it definitely doesn't switch between one and the other without just nose diving and bursting into flames.
And I'm pretty sure these, at least at the start of the year, they were limited to Ardu Pilot. Maybe iNav's had some progress with VTOLs.
Yeah, there's definitely been progress.
But it's not mature. So you're probably going to be back where you were with tricopters many years ago. It's going to be all sorts
Leave tricopters out of
Oh no, you said Jack's trigger word.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking of the only other combination of motor mounts and servos that jumped.
Why is he still talking? If you can cut the, I wonder if your brother's nice enough to cut the laughing at the end of that out. Have a shuffle round in the show and then just put that towards the end. Sorry, Stephen. Yeah, I know tricopters.
Yeah, it's just challenging, isn't it? You've got a lot of mechanical linkages under stress and stuff. And I think the fact with tricopters are relatively simple because you're not trying to totally change flight modes, whereas you're doing this kind of, let me just pull the tablecloth off underneath the glassware a trick with VTOLs, where you need enough height that you can swivel that servo around before everything hits the deck.
Yeah. You're trying to get your wings to be moving fast enough, but also pointing fairly level. But then to get fast enough, you've got to tilt forwards, and then that's creating a load of downforce. And then you're trying to rotate these propellers that are moving really fast, and then you've got gyroscopic moments from them, and they're it just seems like a lot of hard work. The tail sitters seem much more sensible to me. Just you keep the propeller pointing in the same direction as the wing, and you just fly forwards. You just take off vertically, just screaming for the sky, and then you just gradually pitch down. It
does capture everyone's imagination, I think, though, right? The VTOLs, because they're the perfect kind of delivery system that you can just poise that thing really easily and descend. Like a tail sitter, it's always going to be problematic to descend. And if you do have some vision of doing pseudo delivery systems or carrying a large payload, then it's nice to be able to do a really easy hover.
Speaking of large payloads and
that was a great segue.
Delivery systems, yeah. The other big news that was this week was the new DJI system, which is quite interesting if perhaps slightly threatening. The DJI Flycart, or Skyfart as they keep calling it. The Flycart 30.
Yeah.
And big 'un.
Ooh. Yeah, so it's
Here's the alternative: loads and loads of donkeys or a car. What you really want is DJI. Here's an area where DJI haven't yet solidified a monopoly. Help them get the full set, guys. Come on. You can do it.
maximum payload of 30 kilos, speed of 20 meters per second.
Actually, in the asterisk bit, that was with a double battery config. I think with a single battery, it was even 40 kilos.
Wow.
Which is
Wow.
That's a lot. That's like child.
That's Tony.
Yeah. It's a child or Tony.
Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Those things are massive. Like those things are huge.
How big are those props then? That must be like 24-inch.
I like how he's wearing safety glasses, just in case it comes at him.
Yeah.
In case it explodes.
I'd probably go for like at least something that covered the neck area.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a pretty cool bit of tech, but yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. It's
I mean,
here we are. We can see it landing next to someone now. Kind of gauge how big it is.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of companies have built big delivery drones like this before, and they're using them, as we know from Chris G, to do things like move things between oil rigs and stuff.
To that point, like we'll talk about DJI, and we don't really like DJI. We don't think that they're a great company by any stretch, and we'd really love to hear from small companies and act as free publicity for them to tell us about the awesome things that they are doing and offering genuine innovation outside of what is rapidly becoming a sky monopoly. So if you are one of those...
Cole loves DJI. He's a DJI advocate.
If you are involved in one of these companies, it would be fantastic to have you on the show. So if you're out there and you're doing cargo delivery systems and you have genuine commercial aspects for drones beyond photography, we'd love to talk to you. I think that would be a fascinating topic of discussion. So let us know.
Yeah, Jack. I mean, I don't mind DJI as a company when it comes to like camera stabilization units or the little mini little DJI mini drones and stuff like that. I mean, I don't dislike them as a company. I think what they're doing is pretty cool. They're making a platform that, or they're refining a platform that no one else has gotten to be able to. Like it's basically the Apple of drones, right? That's how I've always compared it. Is like I feel like they copied. I don't want to say copied it, and again, any views expressed, yada yada. But it's like when I think of
a amount of vertical integration, right? That's what Apple's got. They don't just do the software; they do the software that only runs on their hardware, and they do the hardware that can only use their software. And if you want to consume app, you can only use their app store, and it's like this full vertical integration. And DJI does exactly that. And so the positives of DJI are that tight integration, where you know that this product will always work with this product, will always work with this product, and it's going to be rock solid. The downsides are exactly the same as Apple. This product must always work with this product and must always work with this product. You don't get to choose. If you want to go do something wacky and wonderful, you better hope that there's some intern
can't be trusted
who opens the door for you and let you do a little bit of tinkering. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, how dare you?
I mean,
the things that you buy own you, of course.
I mean, I've tinkered with my DJI drones in the past. I've done some repairs and stuff like that. But
you will get corrected, dear.
we've seen Jack do a power loop with a Mavic something.
Yep.
No, I
how much Mavic was left in that. So Zero says Bamboo Lab was DJI. Shout out to Madstech and his kind of lowdown on this, because it appears that the Bamboo Lab guys actually left DJI a while back when it started to become less interesting, and it sounds like their chief motor scientists and thrust engineers ended up at Bamboo Lab instead.
That's cool.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's actually a buddy of mine from out here in Canada. He's a big 3D printing guy, and he's got tons of Bamboo Lab machines, I guess. Yeah, and he rants and raves about them. Apparently, they're just great.
Yeah.
I mean, that is probably the lessons they've learned from DJI, right? It's like, make sure that what you do, like, just works. Let the community build out what they need and then work on that. So, like, you know, the very, very early DJI Phantoms, like, you had to fit a gimbal to it, or you had to fit a GoPro to it, or you had to do anything else, and they've just gradually built that out. So that their products always kind of just work.
Well, remember the really, really early DJI stuff that was like flame wheel and things, right?
Yeah, true.
I'm worried a little bit that, you know, Bamboo Lab may start out with what you've got now that looks like a great product, but my concern is in like 4 or 5 years' time, you might be with an HP situation where you're like, buy this spool of printer filament and it doesn't work, and your HP. Bamboo Lab doesn't have a yeah. I mean, I just changed my ink cartridge today and like got a reconditioned one from a third party, and you look on the cartridge, it's got all these pointless circuitry on it, and the circuitry is purely there to ensure that the printer will only accept a cartridge that was created by HP. It's pure monopoly power at work. There's no reason for that to be.
Yeah, you can't be trusted to install. You're lucky it lets you put paper in there.
Yeah, mate.
Well, you know what? If you want to hear someone if you want to hear someone that will rant to the nth degree about stuff like that, go look up Louis Rossmann. He's got a whole bunch of videos about HP.
Yeah. He's fighting the fight.
Yep.
They should have stuck with Nixie clock. Read out 7 segment.
It's really frustrating watching that happen, because I think Louis Rossmann is fighting for these really great ideas, and everyone likes them and starts backing them, and then the bill gets into the House of Government, and all the vested corruption takes hold, and then they gut the bill, and they end up passing something that has all these exemptions that means it's not effective anymore. And then the public thinks they've won.
What's the name for this?
Multimeter.
A wanky name for it.
Fluke.
Yeah. What is it called? You know, the long-winded name for it. It's written on the
a multimeter.
It's called
ammeter, voltmeter.
It's not like multimeter. It's like metronomical something or other. What is the word? It's written in your lab. The meteorology thing.
Metrology.
Retro-turbo-encabulator.
What is the word? I know that's a fluke.
Retro-turbo-encabulator, mate.
No.
It's the non-ionic marble
something like that. It sounds like that, but it's not that. Does anyone know? Yes. 7 segments.
I do not know.
Like vacuums are all hoovers. Ugh. I know.
Did you notice that Jack just tucked the multimeter into bed next to him there? Oh yeah, baby.
Do you kiss it good night, Jack?
I'm coming to you later, baby. I've got nitro,
nice and gently on the
not
forehead.
Afraid to use it.
Yeah, it's half a tank of nitro and a multimeter there. The party's just getting started.
Yeah, I know. Now, let's correct name for.
Cole, are you playing?
Let's listen while Jack Googles.
Multimeter.
While Jack is Googling, we were talking about 3D printers, made me think about flying 3D.
Flying 3D printers?
Not flying 3D printers, flying 3D quads. Zoe FPV was on Onigiri's podcast recently, and talking about a lot of stuff that's quite interesting. So like formalized freestyle competitions and flying 3D and X-Class and all the kinds of things Zoe's been doing. Very exciting episodes, and it's been streaming recently as well, doing like live streams of her and other people in her Discord. She's obviously like got this growing community going, and they've been live streaming their flights sort of on this live stream, which was quite cool. So there you go. If you're looking for something to watch, I highly recommend WFPV's streams.
Related news, if anyone wants to have a go flying 3D, I think you'll find out that Blue Jay have recently started to push out a release. I don't know if it's out just yet, but there was a bug with 3D throttle in some versions of Blue Jay, and there's an RC. Oh yeah, it's still an RC mode, but I think they're about to finalize it. So the current Blue Jay 0.20.1 RC2 fixes 3D mode. It works fine. It was broken 0.7 apparently, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, give it a go. Fly it. Get it on a switch. What I tend to do is I've got my angle mode, and I've got acro mode with air engaged, and then I've got another switch position up the top of on the 3 position, which disables air mode and puts on 3D mode. And so you can kind of take off normally and get up to a sensible height, give yourself a bit of a bump on the throttle, and flick it into 3D mode and go crazy. And hopefully you get control of it before it hits the deck. It's all good fun.
Nice. Yeah, they were doing a lot of sim flying as well. So there was a couple of sims that they've got 3D working quite well, apparently. I mean, not perfectly, they were saying, but close enough that you can have a go there, maybe without quite so much risk of setting fire to something.
So we have volt ohm milliammeter.
Is that what you were looking for, Jack?
If you've got, what happens if you've got a continuity checker? It's not just a volt ohm milliammeter. Is it a volt ohm diode milliammeter? Volt ohm auditory diode milliammeter.
Metro, I don't know. It's written, in those drawers you got at work, Frank. It's written on the bit.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it says multi-metrology. That's all it says.
Yeah, metrology. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's not nearly as impressive as you were building it up to, man.
Oh, it is. It's really
mangy. It's just multimeter, but it was broader than a multimeter, so we just put a different label on the box.
Question from Robert. Sorry, Stephen, is your throttle in the middle at 3D mode, or is it full range? So. Yeah, when I flick to 3D mode, the throttle goes from -100 to +100. So if you're taking off and you get to mid throttle and your hover point is, say, like 25% throttle, then you're going to need to give the throttle a bit of a blip and go into 3D mode. And hopefully you can kind of catch it, because all of a sudden now your neutral throttle 50% halfway up the stick, and your 25% throttle is now about like 62% of the way up the stick. So you need to make that adjustment before things go weird. So yeah, in the middle, it's going to be 0 throttle in 3D flight. And if you're below 0, if you're below 50%, when you make the transition to 3D mode, your motors are going to reverse and you're going to start accelerating towards the ground, which is why you want to give it a bit of a blip and then go into 3D mode, so it's not quite such a brown trouser moment. But yeah, it works. I mean, just put it on a switch, and what you need to do is make sure you disable air mode, because air mode and 3D mode are not good bedfellows.
Well, I think Zoe was saying that there's been some changes made to that, or there's some adjustments. She was definitely talking about air mode, and air mode being on. She has some testing to do.
Don't do it.
Go watch the stream. Go watch the stream.
I personally wrote the documentation and checked with the developers, and don't enable air mode with 3D mode. Don't do it, because the motor mixer doesn't account for 3D mode, and it's going to wig out. And I tried it myself, and it wigged out a little bit. And I talked to other people, and they're like, "No, don't do that." So, I actually wrote the docs that said, "Don't do that." So I'm pretty sure you shouldn't do that.
But there was something else I was going to say. What camera angle were you flying, or are you flying 3D?
Too much, which is what I rapidly found out when changing 3D mode. Yeah, you really want to be like keeping it smooth and getting us like 10 degrees maybe, so you can get a little bit of forward motion. But yeah, things are going to get wacky if you do like a 45-degree camera angle and then you're in 3D, because you just not got a clue where you're going. It's going to be difficult. You're going to see where you've been, but
you're just looking at the ground basically, aren't you then?
Yeah, you're like, so when you flip upside down, you're going to be looking at the ground, but not even the ground in front of you. It's going to be the ground that's basically behind you. And you're going to be like, oh, that's where I was. That's where I was. It's not really helpful for navigation. So yeah, flat camera angle really helps.
Yeah.
But you don't tend to do high-speed stuff in 3D. It's mostly just, you're doing tricks around obstacles. If you look at the flying Zoe does, not to put words in her mouth or anything, but a lot of it is you find something that's interesting and you invert and then invert again, and you're doing those inverted, non-inverted transitions around something. You're not getting a ton of forward speed because it's, you're not going to be able to see very well if you get a ton of forward speed.
Some of these pilots in Zoe's stream were like flying, like doing knife edge through gaps, and then like Matty spinning just like
fantastic,
very extreme stuff.
You should link to that. I don't know which one first streams. I saw Shoe Purpose did a couple, but that would be awesome to see. Thanks.
I can't remember which one it was either, but I will have a look through maybe while you're finishing up. I'll post it in the comments.
Yeah, give it a go. So especially with the new version of BlueJay, I think with other stuff it works, but it's nice to be able to smash that like button. It's nice to be able to do it on lighter quads, which is where the BlueJay stuff comes in handy, because you're going to crash. Like, there's no two ways about it. Flying 3D mode, you can be a pretty good pilot. Suddenly the throttle does other stuff, and suddenly everything feels different. Crashing is fairly likely. So pick something light and try it over grass if you can.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's a giggle.
I like how you were the one who wrote the documentation for Beta Flight. Thank you, Stephen. No one ever reads.
Well, hopefully it makes it onto Google. That's the name of the game, right? So if someone searches for it and be like, why is this thing not working how I expect?
Why did air mode during 3D cut my dick off? Google.
All right, I'll put the penis severance hashtag in there and see if we can promote it. So recently, I actually started writing some docs for people getting started as well. So I've done this whole section on ESC firmware to try and make it easier to find the right firmware versions, because there's been a whole load of versions released, and some Beal Heli 32 versions do not work very well at all. There's been some that are almost experimental releases from Beal Heli 32, and they've just been a disaster. So I've tried.
Do you remember Speedy B, where they used to just blow up?
Yeah, there's somewhere you just get hot motors and like it's not syncing properly. It's there's rattling noises, and it's not good. So I've done a couple of tables to say these are the reliable versions and canvass the opinions of racers and things, and got that. And I also did a page on VTXs, analog and digital, to kind of describe the pros and cons of each and what each offers in terms of configuration. So slowly moving the docs forward. Not glamorous, not exciting, hopefully useful.
Thank you, Stephen.
Now walking fun.
Frank, I don't know whether you want to, I don't know, maybe talk to Zoe at some point in the near future.
It would be good to have her back on.
Yeah.
After so many years.
I do miss her. Zoe, if you're listening to this, which you probably won't, unless someone wants to send a link to this, we do miss you and hope you're doing all right. That's all we've got time for. It has been a wonderful packed hour. Thank you to all our wonderful Patreons who are scrolling past. Daniel R. Upton, Daniel Carboni, Don Robinson, Swanee Bean. Thank you. People like that. You guys are all.
Off Axis.
Oh yeah, off Axis. Newest boy.
Yes, sir. Canadian boy, Marcel. Woohoo.
Yep.
Shout out to the long range crew.
And Cole, I'm a little proud of you. I don't say it enough. I usually just grunt at you and I like respond in like passive aggressive. Read the fucking manual. But, well done. Well done.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Or as Alexander says, read the effing wiki. Why are you talking to me? We've been joined by our Lord and Master Andrew / Frank.
Bye.
The reason why you still have your penis and can use BL Heli 32, Stephen.
All the best. I'm off to watch some 3D flying clips.
My buddy Cole.
See ya.
And I've been Brian Fly. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Someone press end stream. I'm not doing that.